In winter, temperatures in Harbin routinely fall to 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. For residents of China's northernmost cities, extreme cold is not an occasional inconvenience but a daily reality. Heated buildings and indoor markets provide relief during the day, but once the sun sets, the cold intensifies and becomes far more difficult to ignore. People in northeastern China have developed practical habits to cope with these conditions. It may seem unusual to outsiders that life continues almost normally in such weather, yet staying indoors all the time is simply not possible. Work schedules, school, shopping, and social life all continue through winter. Buses and subways run on time, street vendors remain active, and many occupations require hours spent outdoors. In a city built around severe winters like Harbin, learning to live with the cold is not optional. It is a necessity. The issue comes down to access to heat and how people move between it. While many do not think about it consciously each day, the spaces people pass through in Harbin are absolutely essential for comfort and safety. A heated apartment can mean the difference between rest and exhaustion. Warm public buildings provide crucial relief from extreme cold. Even everyday places like malls, subways, and restaurants play an important role when temperatures drop this low. The harsh reality is that exposure without nearby warmth, even for short periods, can quickly become uncomfortable or unsafe. Wind, dry air, and severe cold work together to drain body heat. That is why Harbin residents rarely plan to stay outdoors longer than necessary. One longtime Harbin resident explained it simply: "Staying warm is about where you go, not how long you endure the cold." Many people would rather move efficiently between heated spaces than rely only on heavy clothing throughout the day. After all, what good is enduring the cold outside if warmth is always just a doorway away? Before going into the specific techniques people in Harbin use to stay warm, it helps to understand why indoor heat matters so much. Most residents rely heavily on consistently heated environments as their primary defense against winter. These spaces are designed to be comfortable, not just tolerable. Apartments, offices, and public transit maintain stable temperatures that allow daily life to continue normally. The biggest challenge is the contrast itself. Stepping from a warm interior into snow-covered streets, icy sidewalks, and cutting winds can be jarring. Cold surfaces and open areas pull heat away quickly, especially during commutes. That is why you will notice people in Harbin structuring their routines around warm stops, moving from one heated space to the next, using the city's infrastructure itself as protection against the cold. Each added layer helps trap a little more warmth inside. One resourceful Harbin resident covers their entryway and windows with thick insulated curtains and plastic film. It is not especially stylish, but those trapped air pockets provide surprisingly effective insulation. Even with central heating, these small fixes only go so far. Indoor temperatures can vary between rooms, and areas near windows often stay cooler. With temperatures plunging far below zero outside, people need more than heating alone to stay comfortable. That is where clothing layers become absolutely crucial for daily life. Staying warm through a Harbin winter takes more than one or two items. It requires a complete system. And yes, wearing several layers may look excessive, but each one plays a specific role in holding heat close to the body. People usually buy these items locally, choosing them carefully for warmth and durability. Some even joke that they can recognize a good thermal layer instantly, a skill that becomes useful when winter stretches on for months. These layers are not only for going outside. Padded pants and thick sweaters are often worn indoors, used as lap covers while sitting, and sometimes doubled as sleepwear during the coldest nights. The real trick is keeping everything dry. Damp clothing in freezing temperatures loses its insulating power quickly. That is why people in Harbin dry winter gear thoroughly and store it carefully, protecting these essential layers from snow, sweat, and melting ice. But even with heavy clothing and reliable indoor heat, cold still finds its way in. Floors stay chilly, walls radiate cold, and nighttime temperatures drop enough to make sleeping uncomfortable. A common reaction might be to ask, why not just heat the entire room more? In northern China, that question was answered long before modern heating systems existed. Running heat continuously through every part of a home is effective, but it is not always efficient. Long before district heating networks reached cities like Harbin, people developed ways to stay warm by focusing heat exactly where it mattered most. Instead of warming all the air in a room, they warmed the body directly. One of the oldest examples of this approach is the Kong. Found in rural homes and older houses across northern China, the Kong is a raised platform made from brick or stone and connected to a stove flue. When a stove is used for cooking, hot exhaust travels through channels beneath the platform, slowly heating the structure. Once warm, the Kong holds heat for hours. The result is a surface that stays comfortably warm long after the fire has died down. Even if the room air remains cool, the bed itself radiates warmth upward. Thick quilts and blankets trap that heat close to the body, creating a warm microenvironment ideal for sleeping and resting. This reflects a different philosophy of cold weather living. Do not fight the cold everywhere. Control it where it matters. Warm the person. Warm the surface you touch. Let the rest of the room remain cooler. In urban Harbin today, most residents rely on district heating rather than Kong beds. Apartments are connected to centralized systems that deliver steady warmth throughout the winter season. Yet the underlying mindset remains surprisingly similar. People still focus on warming occupied spaces rather than unused rooms. Bedrooms, living areas, and seating spots receive the most attention. At night, this approach becomes especially clear. Instead of raising thermostat settings across an entire apartment, many people add extra quilts, electric mattress pads, or heated floor mats. These methods mirror the logic of the Kong. Provide warmth directly to the body, reduce energy waste, and maintain comfort through insulation rather than excess heat. The science behind this is simple. Solid materials retain heat far longer than air. Brick, stone, and thick bedding absorb warmth slowly and release it gradually, creating stable temperatures over time. This is why a Kong bed can stay warm through the night, even in a cold room. Safety and practicality are also part of the design. Because the heat source is contained and indirect, there is less risk of open flames near sleeping areas. Generations refined these systems through experience, adapting them to long, severe winters. While modern Harbin looks very different from the villages where Kong beds originated, the principle still applies. Cold climate living did not begin with radiators and pipes. It evolved through observation, efficiency, and a deep understanding of how heat behaves in harsh environments. And even today, those old ideas continue to shape how people stay warm when winter is at its coldest. This way of thinking explains why traditional heating methods never fully disappeared, even as cities modernized. The Kong was not just a bed. It was a solution shaped by necessity, fuel scarcity, and harsh winters that demanded efficiency. Firewood or coal was precious, so heat had to be used wisely. By channeling warmth into a solid structure instead of open air, households maximized every bit of energy produced. Over time, daily routines adapted around this system. Families cooked, slept, and rested on or near the Kong during winter months. Children did homework on warm surfaces, elders gathered there in the evenings, and thick quilts became as important as walls themselves. Warmth was localized, predictable, and deeply integrated into everyday life. As Harbin expanded and urbanized, district heating replaced these older systems in most apartment buildings. Radiators and centralized boilers brought consistent warmth across entire neighborhoods. Yet, even with modern infrastructure, people did not abandon targeted heating habits. Instead, they layered them on top of newer systems. In many homes, radiators provide baseline warmth, but personal comfort comes from additional measures. Electric blankets, heated mattress pads, thick quilts, and padded bedding are widely used during the coldest months. These tools serve the same purpose the Kong once did. They warm the body directly and reduce the need to raise overall room temperatures. Floor-level warmth is especially important. Cold rises from the ground, and Harbin winters make unheated floors uncomfortable. Heated floor mats and thick rugs are common, particularly in bedrooms and living areas. Sitting or sleeping close to warm surfaces reduces heat loss and improves comfort without excessive energy use. This approach also reflects a long-standing awareness of efficiency. Heating an entire room to high temperatures requires far more energy than warming a person or surface. By focusing heat where it is needed, households maintain comfort while keeping energy use under control. It is a practical mindset shaped by generations of living with extreme cold. At night, this becomes even more apparent. Instead of increasing heat output, people add layers. Extra blankets replace higher thermostat settings. Thick bedding creates insulation just as effective as warm air, often more stable through the night. The contrast between urban and rural Harbin highlights how cold climate living evolved. Modern apartments benefit from reliable infrastructure, while traditional homes relied on ingenuity and design. Yet both share the same underlying principle: warm the body first, let the rest follow. This continuity explains why older methods still feel relevant. They were never about comfort alone. They were about survival, efficiency, and understanding how heat behaves in cold environments. Long before thermostats existed, people learned that warmth does not need to fill a room to be effective. In Harbin today, winter living reflects this layered history. Central heating provides the foundation. Targeted heating completes the system. Thick bedding, insulated surfaces, and personal warmth tools bridge the gap between past and present. The technology may have changed, but the logic has not. In extreme cold, the smartest solutions are often the simplest ones, refined over time, and passed down through experience. And whether it is a centuries-old Kong bed or a modern heated mattress pad, the goal remains the same. Stay warm where it matters most, but even the best clothing and heating strategies need support from the inside. In Harbin, staying warm is as much about what you eat as where you stand. In deep winter, the body works harder to maintain temperature, and food becomes a direct source of heat and comfort. Hot pot is the clearest example. During peak winter season, it is everywhere. Locals and visitors alike describe it as physically warming, not just filling. A bubbling pot of broth sits at the center of the table, heating the air, the hands, and the body all at once. Meat, vegetables, tofu, and noodles are cooked slowly, encouraging people to eat over long periods rather than all at once. In a city where winter nights are long, hot pot turns dinner into sustained warmth. Harbin's winter cooking also adapts to the cold in practical ways. Frozen ingredients are common and intentional. Tofu left outdoors freezes solid, turning porous and sponge-like. When added to soup or stew, it absorbs broth and heat, making it especially satisfying. Root vegetables, cabbage, and preserved foods dominate winter meals, reflecting what stores well and cooks hot. The science behind this is simple. Digesting food generates heat. Frequent warm meals keep that internal furnace running steadily, especially when temperatures hover around 0 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 18 degrees Celsius. Soups, stews, and noodle dishes deliver both calories and warmth, making them ideal for harsh conditions. Drinks follow the same logic. Hot tea, soups, and broths are consumed throughout the day. Convenience stores, homes, and restaurants all offer warm options, and people often carry insulated bottles to keep liquids hot for hours. Then there is the contrast that surprises outsiders. Even in extreme cold, people in Harbin eat ice cream outdoors. Brands like Madier are famously popular in winter. Heavy clothing, indoor heat, and brief exposure make the cold feel manageable, even playful. Cold outside, hot inside. The rhythm allows both extremes to coexist. This balance defines Harbin's winter culture. Warmth comes from many directions. Food, drink, buildings, and habits all work together. Living through winter here is not about one trick. It is about stacking systems, heat beneath your feet, layers on your body, and meals that warm you from the inside out.